Alright, I had a commenter on one of my channels or one of my videos wanted me to do this problem for them because they still didn't quite understand what was going on with creating a frequency distribution. So this one, I'm going to simplify things and we're just going to create just the simplest frequency distribution I can think of without doing any class boundaries or extending it out so that we can make a histogram or any of that stuff. And so here's the data. It's a small set of data. I mean, small in means of there's not very many. There's only 8, I think, here. But it's 98, 11, 63, 18, 79, 46, 53, and 87. So the first thing I do is I ascend that. I go ahead and put it in ascending order, or from least to greatest. And so we'll go down here. I've already got kind of laid it out. And so there it is in ascending order. I don't have there we go. And there it is. Your smallest number is 11. Your biggest number is 98. And so for creating a frequency distribution, those are the two you really need to start out with. And so what you do with that is you find your lowest value and your highest value. And then you find the range of the data set. So the range in our case is 98 minus 11, or 87. So we're going to use 87 to find our lower limits. So then the next step here is you select the number of classes, anything between 5 and 20. Now, I think since we have so few values here, I mean, there's not very many values, it wouldn't make sense to have a class, to have 20 classes. So in this case, I'm just going to do the lowest, which is 5. And so what you do is you calculate the class width, which kind of threw up a formula for you, but class width equals your range divided by the number of classes you want. So in our case, 87 divided by 5 is 17.4. And then you round that value up if you need to. So in our case, we'll round it up to 18. So our class width is 18. Okay. Then to find the class lower limits, you select a starting point below the data. And it can be any point directly below our data. Well, our smallest number was 11, so it only makes sense for it to be 10. That's a pretty convenient number. And so what you do is you just go ahead and set your lower limits by starting with 10. And notice we have plus 18, plus 18, plus 18, and you just keep going, plus 18. And there's our 5, but I'm going to go one more so that I get all of the values. And so you go plus 18. Now we won't use this 100 on the lower limit side, but we need that 100 for the upper limit side. So I always go one past so that we can set our upper limits. So your upper class limits are always just one less than the lower class limits. And, obviously 10 was where we started. So if you look at this, 28 would make our first lower class limit 27. And then you'd have 45, 63, 81, 99. And again, on those, I am just simply subtracting 1 from each of these. So, you can have it, I'll do it in a different color here. So 27, 45, 1 less, 63, 81, and 99. So we're ready to put this into a table. And so here I've got the data, and I've got the table. And, yep, there we go. I can fit it all in there. Let me Maybe if I move this around, let me pause for just a second. So I went ahead and put the lower class limits and the upper class limits in a table. And up above there you see my data, 11, 18, 46, 53, 63, 79, 87, and 98. And we're going to make a tally. So we can go ahead and create our frequency distribution. So all values, so there are from 10 to 27. So if you take a look here, here's 10, here's 27. There are two values, two tallies. So there's 11 and there's 18. So our frequency is 2 between 10 and 27. Between 28 and 45, we don't have any. So that's 0. From 46 to 63, we have 3. I'll mark all 3 of those off. From 64 to 81, we have just the 79 there, so we have 1 of those. And from 82 to 99, we have 2 tallies. And there is our frequency distribution. I think the video I made goes on and does a cumulative frequency distribution and some other things. So that's the simplest version of a frequency distribution I can give you. So I hope it helps, and I'll see you next time.